Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Rebecca Sullivan. I am the founder and the master teacher of the Awake Academy. I'm so glad that you guys have decided to join me on this webinar. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. I would love to tell you how I released 60 pounds after about 28 years of figuring out how to do this unsuccessfully. I finally mastered this to a point where I can eat what I want and still stay at a weight that I was only at when I was in high school. I released 60 pounds. My goal was about 50 pounds. But after I learned the formula behind this, the true recipe, then the other 10 pounds just gracefully came off because that's where my body wanted to be. What I learned is it's not about the food I was eating. It's not about how much exercise I was doing. It was about what I'm going to teach you now. The reason why I say released 60 pounds instead of lose 60 pounds is because we do a lot with the subconscious mind. And when you lose something in the subconscious mind, it always tries to find what you lose. So even by rephrasing it as releasing 60 pounds can be greatly beneficial to this whole journey. I was overweight ever since I can remember about the age of 4. Even looking back of pictures of me, there's me chubby, whereas my sisters, because I have 4 sisters, were always very skinny and slender. We followed the same diet. We all played outside the same amount. My parents fed us the same. My parents treated us the same, but I was always the one that held on to that extra weight to a fault. What I do remember, and I'm sure that a lot of people will be familiar with this, is that I was always empathic, picking up on everybody else's energies. Our physical body is our avatar. It is the vehicle where we assimilate the quantum field of energy outside of us. What I mean by this is the kinesthetic body or the etheric body, whatever you want to call it. We have our physical body, we have the chakras that open up, and then outside of those chakras guide us into our energetic, etheric, kinesthetic body, whatever you would like to say, the quantum field. In this, we are holding blueprints. These blueprints are everything. In the quantum field, when we shift the blueprints, we will shift the physical. So that's why when I teach Awake, even when I'm teaching people how to heal physical disorders or physical diseases within the body, we're always healing it in the holographic quantum field or the blueprint in order for it to successfully heal in the physical. Releasing weight is no different. It's exactly the same. So in the blueprint, we have the energy that goes into our conscious thinking, our subconscious thinking, our genetics, and even goes deeper into a soul level. Deeply ingrained in the quantum field, in each of these levels, is our beliefs, our programs, not only just our beliefs and programs, but our ancestors' beliefs and programs, as well as the collective's beliefs and programs. So we are thinking through our DNA, we're thinking through the collective. How is everybody else thinking? Does everybody else think that if you eat chocolate cake, you're going to gain weight? Did your mom's mom think that if you eat chocolate cake, you're going to gain weight? So therefore, we have a belief that if you eat chocolate cake, you're going to gain weight. Right there is a belief that if we shifted that, guess what? You may be able to eat chocolate cake without gaining weight. The quantum field must assimilate through these energies in order to go into the physical. If we don't change the energies in the quantum, they're going to be weighted so that when they do integrate with the physical avatar, guess what? The physical avatar is going to be weighted as well. We must clear the quantum as well as the physical in order to successfully really heal or balance anything in this 3D reality. Through what I teach in Awake, I finally realized that it is not about what I was eating, but rather the energies that I was holding while I was eating or just living. Have you ever felt that you were carrying the weight of the world? Have you ever taken on the weight of the energy of others, such as their problems, their fears? Whether you're a mom or a wife or a sister, have you ever felt like everything is your responsibility and you need to hold it for others? Are you an empath to a fault? That describes me to a T. I remember as a child just really wanting to take on the problems of my mom and dad and to help them out and my sisters and everybody else around me. I kind of felt like it was my responsibility to balance everything. But maybe you even came to the point where you realized, I'm an empath. I have heavy burdens on me. I'm carrying the weight of the world. But no matter what you do, you can't release yourself from this burden. That's what I felt like. I would know in my brain this was happening, but no matter what I did, no matter what I said to myself, no matter what affirmation I gave myself, I couldn't release this. No matter how many shields I put around myself, I finally realized we need to be the shield. It's not just about shielding yourself with an outside shield. We must be the shield inside out. This is where the techniques in Awake came in for me. Through the strategies, through the techniques and the modules in Awake, which I'm going to review with you in just a few minutes what they are, I learned how to successfully free myself from these burdens by integrating my shadow energies, living through the 0 point, rewriting, re-encoding my DNA, and releasing stuck energies such as trauma, fear, anger, guilt, doubt, shame. One of the biggest energies that I successfully released was that very taxing energy of martyring. Martyring is one of the most toxic energies that you can hold, but it's one of the most deeply ingrained energies. And that is that everybody has to come first, right down to your children. But the truth of the matter is if you don't put yourself first, you absolutely are not going to activate your light body or help anybody else. You cannot love anybody more than you love yourself. An example of martyring is there's two ways to do things for people. I've done things for people where I'm so happy and energized. Just the feeling of helping somebody else and being there for somebody else, it gives you this surge of energy. That is an amazing way to help somebody. Then there's the helping somebody because you feel guilty, you're ashamed, you're embarrassed, you think you have to do it, it's your responsibility. And when you help these people, it's like a vacuum, it's sucking out your energy. That is the definition of martyring. That is one of the biggest things that we teach you to release, and one of the biggest ways that you'll go into this journey of self-love that helps you get to that 0 point in the frequency that you need to get to in order to not only release the weight we're talking about, but to become healthy in all areas of your life. As I begin to release these heavy energies from the quantum and alchemize them, they begin to release from the physical. I lost 60 pounds. My goal was only 50. But I kept losing until my body wanted to stop. I wasn't even trying. Once I got this down, my body just did its thing. It wanted to stop at 135 pounds, and that's where I'm at right now. The last time I weighed 135 pounds was when I was in high school, and it wasn't even a healthy journey. Because when I was in high school, in the 9th grade, I was about 100 pounds overweight. I had this love-hate relationship with food. I would eat food and just not understand it because I was the type of person that could eat 2 French fries and gain 5 pounds. I felt lost. I felt hopeless about what to do. Like, how can I be like everybody else around me and eat food, but yet be slender and thin and have this healthy avatar? So I had to resort to things like anorexia or bulimia to try to help me get this relationship with my body that I wanted, but it wasn't even a healthy relationship. There's a lot of control and anger and resentment in those dynamics. So to be honest with you, I never truly felt healthy with eating and with my body and with the concept of weight until about the last 3 years of my life when I went through this journey. And it seems so simple, but yet it was so profound once I really learned how to do it. Also, when I released the weight from the quantum, and then it released from the physical, I was releasing the negative energy that was absorbed in the fat cells from the negative programming and the negative quantum energy that I was carrying while I ate the food. So yeah, I might have eaten pizza and cake and gained all this weight before. 1, because I believed I would, and 2, as I was eating it, I had this guilt and this toxic relationship with the food. And not only that, I was carrying the weight of the world as I was eating it. So I'm just consuming that energy as it's absorbing into my fat cells. So when I released it, I had the opportunity to reintroduce it into my body with the right frequency and energy. This is so important. What I mean is I could eat pizza, I could eat French fries, and I could eat it in such a loving way, in such a high frequency, that it had a completely different effect on my body than it did before when I ate it. This was absolutely profound to me. So now what I do is I intuitively eat. Two other very important things that I realized on my weight release journey is that inflammation and the fight or flight syndrome is huge within the quantum field and the physical body in reference to weight retention, autoimmune, aging, and everything else. This is absolutely essential that you combat the inflammation and the fight or flight, not only in your physical body, but in the quantum field. I like to think of inflammation as repressed passion. And fight or flight, we get in fight or flight just by being waking up by an alarm clock every day. The body is organically made to be able to rest until it doesn't need rest anymore. With living in a capitalistic world, it's very easy for us to get into the fight or flight. And there are some really cool energetic strategies and techniques that I will introduce to you in the Wake Academy that help you to get through this so that you can begin that release of that heavy energy in the quantum field, along with, once again, releasing the shadow energies, the trauma, the anger, the fear, the resentment, all of that negative, stuck, stagnant, weighted energy that we are carrying. Remember, you're alchemizing these energies to a point where you're going into self love and you're living a passionate, truthful life where you can then reside in this beautiful avatar, your physical body that can do what you want it to do. This is the information that the world should live by. There is a reality where you can live a healthy physical life, a healthy mental life, a healthy spiritual life in an avatar that is agile, that is exactly how you want it to be while you're in joy, while you're in love, and while you're prosperous in life. Okay, now you're going to be guided into a webinar that's actually a combination of a couple webinars in one that will be the most useful to you. These webinars have a lot of secrets about weight release that took me a long time to master. So I hope you guys enjoy, and please stay on till the end because there is a healing at the end that I think will really help. So welcome to Awake Weight Release and Detoxing Seminar or webinar. And I'm so glad to have all of you guys here. First of all, I want you to know that whenever I'm working on somebody, so like if I call on somebody to work on them, it's helping everybody. So I want everybody to participate in that healing because we're all together in this. Anytime you do a group healing, whether or not you're here now or whether or not you're watching this on the recording, you are part of it. So you are already tapped in. So we're weaving that thread together right now. And so first of all, I want you guys just to take a strong, deep breath. Remember, when you realize that you are your breath, then you're connected to everything. So the breath isn't just being breathed from inside or from outside in, it's also inside out. So just really follow your breath. And in the exhale, just surrender and let go. Being empathic is actually a gift, a major gift, because you can take your empathic and intuitive skills. Empathy and intuitive skills are like one and the same, right? But unless you know how to put up spiritual boundaries and ground with that skill, it can feel like a curse. It can feel like you're taking on everybody's problems. I can't even stress how much weight is part of that. Think about a time in your life where you felt like everything was just piling up. Can you guys identify with that? This is happening, that's happening. You're worrying about this person that you know has a problem, and you can feel it and you're experiencing it and you're carrying it. You're carrying that in the quantum field, right? In your blueprint, which then anything physical that you take on starts in the quantum. Every single physical disease, every spiritual disease, every emotional disease, everything starts in that quantum blueprint. So to really successfully heal something, you've got to work in the quantum. And so when you're an empath, you're taking on all of that energy in the quantum. So when I was little, I ate just like my sisters did. We had the same parents, we had the same diet, except I was way more athletic because I was a tomboy. I played football. Like I was constantly active. And it just seemed like ever since the age of 4, 3, 4. Even the pictures of me, I'm just like the chubbiest child, and my sisters are very skinny. Now, this is the part I want you to listen to, okay? I didn't realize this until I started doing ayahuasca ceremonies. So if you guys are familiar with ayahuasca and plant medicine, part of the detox of the energy in ayahuasca, and I'm sure you guys have heard this, is the purging, right? So when people are under ayahuasca, they will throw up. But when they're throwing up, it's like a catharsis. It's that energy leaving your body. It's like because the person was unable to do it through breath, which eventually you can release through your life force breath, the purge, that's why we get sick, that's why we have diarrhea, is because our body needs to purge. Well, at a very young age, about the age of 8, I started projectile vomiting, like everywhere. No one knew why. My mom took me to doctors. Like, I mean, just everything I ate, I threw up for probably years. Because I get it now. It was all the energy that I was taking on, and it was, I guess I had to release it through throwing up, just like we do in ayahuasca, or else, I don't know what would have happened, probably a physical disease. But just think about this. If I'm throwing up all of the time to the point where my mom took me to the doctors, don't you think I would be skinny? No, super fat. Okay, so that right there makes me realize it is not the food. I wasn't keeping down anything, but I was super fat. So I want you guys just to right now think about that. Food is actually our friend. And when we learn how to get into the quantum flow of things, it's all about flow. We can burn through anything. Okay, so that's including food. It was when I wasn't meaning to lose the weight that I did. And that was through the stuff we teach in Awake. Okay, so I started releasing so much weight that I got down to like what I am now, like is 135. I haven't been 135 since I think the army, because I did get down to 135 in the army and I was 18 years old. Okay, so, but guess I wasn't paying attention to the food. I wasn't even meaning to get down that low. And what I noticed is when I let go of the martyring and I let go of, and I put up spiritual boundaries and I did this energy work in the way it was supposed to be done in the quantum field, my body was just flowing and it just went into a good homeostasis with the weight. And it didn't matter what I ate. Whenever you release weight, okay, and then you start eating afterwards, I made sure to reintroduce the food in a loving way, because prior, every time I would eat, I would feel guilty, I would be stressed. So you have to think about the frequency that you're in when you're eating. How are you feeling? So when you eat, be very cognizant of it's a celebration. Be grateful for the food, be thankful for the food, and feel it as it's working with your body. So we are all ran on belief systems. I believe that we create a reality off of what we believe. I've actually experimented with that. So I think everybody needs to be deeply deprogrammed, but think about what you've been told about food or weight for a long time. I know ever since I was little, I remember hearing that like cake is fattening, carbohydrates aren't, they make you fat, apples would keep you skinny, salads would keep you skinny. I heard all of that stuff since I can even remember. What if we were taught like this from the beginning? You can eat cake, but you have to be mindful of it. Look at the reason why you're eating it. Eat it in high frequency, and then your body will process through it. So I think that, well, I know because I've seen people heal through Awake that have had horrible allergies. That when you do these techniques as well, that your allergies will go away. I don't think there needs to be any allergy to any food. I think we can eat gluten mindfully and process through it just fine. Okay, so that's the one thing I want you to do is we're going to have like this imaginary pot right here. Okay, think of it as a magical brew. Okay, and in that pot, when I'm talking, I want you guys to put any negative belief systems that's coming up for you when I talk in that pot. Okay, anything that we talk about and it's like you have a aha moment, put it in that pot, because we're going to be using what you put in the pot at the end to alchemize it into something different. So right now, I just want you guys to think of maybe some of your own belief systems around food, around weight that you're aware of, because there's a lot that you're not aware of. Think of what you're aware of and start to put that in the pot. And just take a deep breath. And I had this planned in a certain way, but when I'm channeling, I have to go with the flow, so things will change. And as I'm tapping into you guys, when I said that, I heard DNA really loud. So I was going to wait till later to talk about this, but we're going to go ahead and talk about it now. We're born into the stories of our DNA. And I think everybody would agree with that, right? I'm sure you guys have heard expressions like, well, you're predisposed to that. Heart disease runs in the family. Well, your mom was overweight, so you're overweight. I'm sure everybody has heard of that, right? Well, if you've ever studied epigenetics, then you know that we're not doomed by our genetics. We can rewrite the stories of our genetics. How do we rewrite the stories of our genetics? First, we need to be aware we can, that it's possible. And you can do it with focus and intent and believing, once again, that you can do it. So with all energy work, the more creative you are, the better. Creation is imagination, and imagination is creation. Because when I teach awake, some people will say, I'm not seeing, I don't see it. It's because you're forcing yourself to see something that you think has to be in a certain way. But your imagination is all you need. So right now, I want you guys to imagine your DNA. It could be this beautiful book of like DNA particles floating around. It could be just a big strand of DNA, however you want to imagine it. And you have some beautiful things in your DNA, things to be grateful of, things that you look back at and you're like, wow, my family's super special. Okay, but there are some things, and maybe you see that as, because remember, the subconscious mind is at work here too. So some of the things we're unaware of, and that's fine. We don't need to be aware of it. But what I want you to do is I want you to see your DNA, and then I want you to command that the DNA show you the parts that need changed, the belief systems that need changed, the quote unquote genetic curses, such as diseases or weight gain or mental health issues that are in the DNA. Command them forward. And when we use the word command, it's very strong. It's not, you don't question a command, right? So that's why we use the word command. It's to work with, or commanding those strands of the DNA to come forward. And I want you to give them love and compassion and forgiveness. But now it's time to alchemize it. It's time to change those stories. So I want you to put that DNA in the pot. And as you put that DNA in the pot, there's this beautiful translucent shield that is surrounding you. And this big pillar of light going through your crown chakra, through your tailbone, and into the earth. And you can slightly feel your body start to vibrate right now as you're basking in this change that is about to happen for you. Okay, so now we're going to go into more of, as you're doing this, or this is still working, we're going to talk more of the logistical stuff in reference to weight and what really helped me. So at the way beginning of my weight loss journey, I almost felt like whatever was hiding energetically in there, I couldn't find. Because sometimes it's harder to work on ourselves than it is somebody else, right? I believe anything can be done with energy work. However, I believe that like naturopathic strategies, homeopathic strategies, even Western medicine can go beautiful with energy work when we need it. So we're like 75% water, right? And what I've noticed with other people when working with them is when people would go on these detoxes, when I was reading their bodies, what I was noticing is they were getting to the stuck, stagnant water in the cells. And in that deep, stuck, stagnant water was the deepest, darkest of the energies that they needed to purge. So in weight release, it's very important that we get to those energies. And if we can't do it through energy work alone, then sometimes we need a little boost like a detox. I am not one that believes in starving yourself at all. I'm not good at that because everything needs to be done with love. So if you're somebody who likes 3-day detoxes, 10-day detoxes, or even the intermediate fasting, right? That's really good for you. Like you stop eating after 7 p.m. at night and I don't eat till like 12 the next day or 10 the next day. Even that helps the body to start detoxing in many different ways. Helps with like the fluid detox, but it also helps with the energy that needs to come out that you eat the food and push back down. But for me, what I did that really helped me, and I'm not saying that you guys have to do this, but personally, it was keto. I did keto for it was probably about 7 to 10 days. I'm not one that likes to torture myself, but my body reacts fast to things. So with keto, what you're doing is you are eating high fats, and reducing carbs. So when you do that, when you don't eat the carbs, your body goes into a state of ketosis. And when your body goes into a state of ketosis, it's using the ketones as energy rather than the carbohydrates. So it really helps to burn the fat. But what it's also doing, it's going into that water in the cells that I'm talking about, that stagnant water that I couldn't get to. So ketosis is good, or some sort of fasting to get to that stuck, stagnant water. And when that purges, when that water starts to come out, and just to let you know, if you've studied ketosis too, one thing about ketosis is they use it for autoimmune diseases or people with cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, and lupus, because when you go into ketosis, it's releasing the free radicals. The free radicals are what causes our bodies to start to go in disharmony and have such diseases as that. So it's not just helping the weight, it's helping because it's the same energy that's causing the weight is causing these other physical ailments in your life. It's not separate. The same energy that's causing the weight is the same energy that's giving you a lack of love, that's giving you a lack of passion, that's not attracting money. It's all one energy. So that's why it's one of my pet peeves when people are like, I just want to focus on my weight. No, that's not the way it is. The weight's there for a reason. So you have to focus on this holistically, everything that's going on in your life. So as this starts to leave your body, guess what you start to experience again? Well, have you guys ever went on a diet and you're doing so well, and then you get to a point where you purposely feel like you're sabotaging yourself? Like, you are. Like, you're like, I just lost 10 pounds. I'm going to take this donut. I'm just going to eat it. I'm going to eat like 10 of them because there's an energy coming out when you're detoxing that you don't want to face, because whatever energy was in those cells in that water, you're re-experiencing it as it comes out. That is where energy work comes in. I know for me, I was doing energy work 24/7 when I was on the ketosis, because I could feel myself start to get these hunger pains, right? When the hunger pains come, there's something below those hunger pains. Have you guys ever been very joyful in your life and in love, and you're like, oh, I forgot to eat today. I'm not hungry, right? But then you're stressed at work, or you're just in a kind of a lull, and you're just wanting to eat and you have hunger pains all the time. There's something in those pains. Okay, so when you're doing this, instead of ignoring the hunger pains, go into the hunger pains. What is this all about? What's going on? And so, like, I invite you guys right now to think about the times in your life where you want to eat more, where you turn to food. And if you're someone who doesn't turn to food, because a lot of people will say, I barely eat. Just think of the most stressful times in your life. And I want you to bring that up too. And I want you to put that in the pot, that pot that's brewing that we have there. And just take a deep breath. One way to work on hunger pains that's really, really, really useful is the fire breath. It's not the exercise that makes us release the weight, it's the breath. I noticed that through when I was in the Army because I don't know, I've just always been really psychic, but I lost so much weight when I was in the Army and I gained it back. But while I was there, I did. And it was the running and it was the breath. I was like, it's the breathing because I was like, because they run you until you're doing the fire breath constantly. So I'm constantly doing the fire breath. And then I put that together with why do we lose weight when we sleep? The breath. So it's really the breath and the movements that cause us to release weight. You're never going to see a Qi Gong master who basically does these slow movements and he's methodical in the breath, that's a master at it, that's overweight. But they don't have to go run a lot. They're just connected with the breath and the movement, which we're going to go more into the movement later on. So with the fire breath, this is really good for hunger pains, really good for rising the Kundalini, really good just to kind of heat it up. You know, you want to heat your body up. It's like a panting, like a dog panting, because you're really breathing through your nose, but it would help if you would mimic a panting like a dog would do it first. You could even go, you know, but then eventually close your mouth and it's like, but the difference between the fire breath and natural breathing is that when you do an inhale, your solar plexus actually goes out in the inhale. So if you put your hand on your solar plexus and you inhale, the solar plexus is going out, and in the exhale, it's going in. So at first, when you practice the fire breath, it doesn't matter how fast you're going. I want you to get used to that inhale, solar plexus going out, exhale, going in. Then start to speed up. Do that for like 5 minutes. Wow. But actually start off with just doing it for 5 minutes and you're going to feel your body heat up. You're going to feel your Kundalini rising. And I'll talk about the Kundalini too, because maybe not everybody knows what that is. But it's also going to release the hunger pains. I can't even stress how important breath and movement is just in our life. Because remember, we need to get into a flow, period. I have noticed that the people I work with that are traumatized and sick are holding their breath. They don't breathe. They're like in shock because when you are in fight or flight, which most people are, waking up to your alarm clock every morning is putting you in fight or flight. You know, anything that's like where you're shocked at, you're just like always in shock, like always moving, having to do things, always worried, you're going to go into fight or flight. Fight or flight is like one of the worst possible things we can be in. It actually causes inflammation. Inflammation causes diseases, weight gain, water retention. So it's like you don't have time to even be in congruence with your digestive system, because if you're running through the woods and a bear is chasing you, your body's going to kick into survival mode. Your body's not going to go to the bathroom because it doesn't want to be like, oh, a bear's chasing me, I have to stop and go to the bathroom. So your body's going to be like, no, 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 no. We're not worried about bathroom right now. We're not worried about anything but getting out of here. So it kicks into a whole different state when you're in fight or flight. And in that state of fight or flight, it's not relaxing. The adrenals are producing cortisol because we need that steroid at the moment. If you don't get out of fight or flight, you're not going to be in a flow. But after someone is in the fight or flight and they're kind of just going through the fight or flight all their life, they're not breathing properly. They're like very shallow breaths. So even notice that about yourself right now. How do you breathe on a daily basis? If you just even close your eyes right now and take a strong deep breath and release. It's hard not to be in the moment when you're breathing like that. Could you hurry through your day breathing like that? But that's the breath that will help you to get your body where it needs to be to release weight and other things. So right now, just think breath. Okay, so we've talked about the fight or flight, which I believe most people are in. And to get out of the fight or flight is actually just paying attention to yourself, giving yourself some care, slowing down, working on why you're so worried all the time. Why aren't you living in the moment? And spending some time in the moment can get you out of fight or flight. But when you get out of fight or flight, you'll notice such a difference in your body. So inflammation, we're going to go into inflammation because inflammation too is one of the reasons, one of the main reasons, but that's an effect of fight or flight, okay? That people are, holding water, congestion. Could think of congestive heart failure, like the heart is holding, right? It's holding water. Just working on so many clients. When I go into someone that's in something with inflammatory response, like lupus or rheumatoid arthritis, when I think of inflammation too, I think of repressed passion. And that is, what aren't you doing in your life that you've always been wanting to do? Because think about a fire that can't be released, like a fire in your body that you're not letting ignite. It's like this. What's it going to do to you? It's going to inflame you, right? Inflammation. What if you release that passion? And when we go into passion, we're talking sacral chakra, the hips, right? So, once again, you can work on these things by just paying attention to the different chakras. And oh yeah, I wanted to go over that right now too, because you're going to hear me talk about Kundalini. And just in case you're not sure what Kundalini is, I'm going to explain it really quick. So if you're more medical, think vagus nerve, right? So the nerve from the base of the spine that goes all the way up to the tongue. Okay. So it's like this, but it's also works with the chakras of the body. And the chakras of the body are the energy openings that communicate with the quantum field. So whatever in the quantum field, and the quantum field is part of that all that is energy, communicates through those energy centers. Okay. And I'm only going to talk about 7 of them right now. You've got the one in the crown chakra up here. And the crown chakra is what connects you to that all that is energy. Then you've got your third eye, which I always imagine a big, beautiful eye in the middle of your forehead that can see 360 degrees around you and that can see beyond the veil. It just knows. Okay, so you got your third eye. Then you've got your throat chakra, which is so big. That is your chakra of truth, speaking your truth. The throat chakra connects with every chakra. So like if you're not expressing what's in your heart space, it's gonna affect the throat. So we've got the throat chakra, which is the chakra of truth, and then we've got the heart chakra right here, and that's compassion. Now, the field of the heart is what runs everything because that's our command center. And that is in the heart chakra as well. Okay, so we've got the heart chakra, and then we've got the solar plexus chakra, which anything that you're holding, like as far as taking on stuff, like people's problems, imprints, really manifests in those solar plexus, affects digestion. So that's an important chakra too. And when we start to release those cords, which we will, to what you're holding on to, it's going to help the solar plexus chakra. And then you have the sacral chakra, which holds 30% of the energy in the body. And that's the chakra of creation and passion and life, right? You guys are here, and I teach this in the Tantra, but you guys are here because of an orgasm, right? None of us would be sitting here if an orgasm didn't exist. Kind of weird how we put like some stigma on orgasms, huh? We take away our existence if we didn't have orgasms. So repressing that sacral chakra is repressing things that you could bring to life in your life, right? One of the things in Tantra that we teach is take a manifestation, put it in a crystal ball, put it in your sacral chakra, and orgasm that to life. I do that all the time with my husband. And it is, wow, it is powerful, but it only makes sense. It just made sense to me because I'm like, I'm sitting here because of an orgasm. That means orgasms bring things to life. So having trauma that you're holding in down there that you guys are not opening that sacral chakra is not good for you at all. So, it's just who you are, your expression, your passion. So that is one of the things I want you guys to really work on if you're holding any sexual trauma. I want you to put that in the pot, because any sexual trauma that you're holding, we don't want to take out on our sacral chakra, because you're in control of your soul. So I really want you to, anything that's been done to you sexually is not the fault of the way it's working down there. It's the fault of the human ego. It's very important that you separate that. Okay, good. Take a deep breath. Okay. I just felt like we had to take a deep breath there. Okay, now going into the tailbone. The tailbone is grounding. How I ground sometimes, which is really cool, is I just sit down and I imagine I'm taking an energetic poop. I'm letting whatever needs to ground. So anyways, those 7 chakras that we just talked about, the Kundalini becomes active when you free those chakras, right? You work on those chakras and you free them, and then the energy can effortlessly and easily flow. Now, I don't know why, guys, I'm really, really on this sacral chakra thing right now as I'm tapping into this group, okay? If you decide to shut down your sacral chakra, here's the Kundalini energy. It can't move. Okay, it's not going to go up your body. It's not going to orbit. So this is where it's very important to get out of victim mentality, because victim mentality takes you out of your power. You're giving your power to someone else. So if you're somebody that says, it's not my fault that I'm suffering, it's my dad, my ex-boyfriend, my father. Yes, I can imagine you've went through some stuff, but you can step in your power and let it go for you so that you can get your Kundalini flowing. So when the Kundalini activates is when you're allowing it to flow, right? So when we do the breath, and this is actually really important, because people will say to me, well, Rebecca, I hear that if you activate the Kundalini, you're going to go into psychosis. Okay, what if you're not doing the energy work with the activation of the Kundalini? What happens is, like, if I'm doing fire breath and I'm activating my Kundalini and I'm pushing up the energy that's in that sacral, whatever happened to me, and so my trauma is starting to come out and I don't deal with it, then yeah, I'm gonna have all this trauma that's coming out and I'm gonna be like, so when you do the breath and you do work on the Kundalini, do the energy work around it. Do work around the trauma, let it go, the stuff that we do in Awake, download love, compassion, all the energy work that we learn. So when the Kundalini activates, it clears the body, because you're in a constant flow. And that's why people get a fever. And that's where, like, I am not a person who agrees at all with taking medication if you have 101-degree fever, because your body naturally is trying to be like, okay, we got to heat up. We got to clear this energy. And then you're like, I'm going to take some Tylenol and just repress the Kundalini activation. And it's just your body needs to clear. So I would let that happen. But that's why we get sick. So we get sick to rise the Kundalini, to throw up the stuff that we don't need, because you're not letting it go through breath. So your quantum field's like, she's got to release this somehow. Let's make her sick. Let's make her throw up. Let's make her have diarrhea. So that Kundalini activation is important. And if we get this down, we will never get sick. You'll never get sick. I use this with everything, this work that I'm talking about. Okay, so we've explained the Kundalini. And also, I do want to go a little bit deeper into how the quantum field affects your physical body. So remember, I was talking about how the energy in the quantum, right, comes through the energy centers, and then the physical body receives it. 100% of the time, it's in the quantum before it hits the physical. 100% of the time. I was working with a guy, and I've always had the ability to be in people's quantum fields ever since I can remember. I was working with a guy who came to one of my soulmate courses, and I got into his field and I started experiencing Parkinson's. Like, I was like, why am I, like, I was crazy. And so I was like, I know we're at a soulmate class, but can you come here for a second? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, because he didn't have the Parkinson's yet. I knew he didn't. He had the pattern in his quantum. So when you do energy work, you can feel the patterns in people's quantum, heal them before it gets to the physical. It's amazing. And I said to him, how did I say? I was like, do you have, like, is there Parkinson's in your family? He's like, yeah, yeah. And he was right there at the age where they were going to receive it. So him and I, after the soulmate class, we worked on clearing that from the field. There's tons of stuff. When you are carrying something, you're going to take it in during a time of stress. Because if you're in high frequency all the time, you can't carry disease. If you're in joy and love all the time, disease cannot exist. So normally people will attract the disease or illness or that negative energy when they're going through something. Bad relationships, they hate their job, whatever. And then that's when they bring it in. So when you start to do energy work in the quantum, you are healing that. You're healing the whatever brought it in, and then you're releasing it. And your body might actually start to move. I'm going to use somebody as an example. Okay, so Wendy, how about you?
Yes, ma'am, I'm available.
So you don't have your camera on, but that's okay. Do you want to turn your camera on or?
I will.
Okay,
I might scare y'all, but I will. I don't have a problem with it at all.
okay, good. You're beautiful. And that's one of the things you guys want to know is you guys know you're beautiful, right? Okay, remember when I work on somebody, it's working on you too, okay? So everybody just take a deep breath. And I'm specifically looking at chords right now, Wendy, and that's what I called you for. So let me explain to you guys what a chord is. We go through the chords in module 1. I think you probably remember it, Wendy. But anyways, a chord is an attachment that you have to something. It could be a person, an event, a situation, and you literally have a cord to it. Think of an umbilical cord, like how you're attached to your mom and it needs to be cut. You need to cut those cords. We should have no cords except for the big white beautiful cord that's in our heart space connecting us to everything that is. No cords. I don't care if you're deeply in love with somebody. You have the most beautiful child in your arms. No cords. Do not attach to something, because when you put a cord attachment to it, you're giving it conditions. Okay, and nothing can flow in a conditional state. And plus, this can save relationships. When you wake up every morning and cut the cord to how you think someone should be, like if you're in a relationship, and let them show up differently and how they're supposed to every day, it is a magical shift. Okay, so Wendy, what is something, and just take a deep breath, that actually, I'm going to do it this way. Okay, you've got these two cords around your arms, and they're right here. Okay,
Okay.
and they're wrapping. And I want you to follow the cords, take a deep breath, and tell me what comes to you.
Well, even before you ask me, I know that I'm bad about wanting to take care of everybody. It comes from my childhood, from being my mom's mom. And anybody I get around, and I'm recognizing that, been thinking about the last few days, if they've got something going on, it's like I attach to it and want to heal it for them, but I can't. They've got to heal it. So that being an empath, I've really got to, like you said, put up those boundaries and not be focusing on healing others. I need to focus on healing myself.
Okay. Okay, so, but everything's a mirror. Okay, and I want you guys know, I want everybody on here to notice where their cords are. So sometimes you can notice because you'll feel like physical pains. Like if you ever wake up and you start feeling something in your back right here, oh, it can be a psychic attack or a cord. So wherever you're feeling pains or stiffness in your body, could be your neck. I want you to right now see that cord. Okay, and we're going to release it, something we're putting in this pot. But Wendy, your cords, and I know you want to help everybody else, right? But that is a side effect of this cord,
Okay.
because helping somebody else, it's fulfilling you in a way. Like for me, it was like, I always believed when I was little, if I don't do this, then I'm not going to be loved. No one's going to like me. I'm at service for people. If I'm not at service for people, people aren't going to love me for just me.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your cords attaching to? I want you to actually take a deep breath. I want you to feel those cords, follow them. with your third eye. And it's very, very like it's almost like you're in a fog. Like you're driving down the road and you're like, I can barely see what's behind the fog. But if you take another deep breath and just like pull out that energy that's in your throat, just let it go.
And I've always got to be the one that's in charge and take care of everything. And it's associated to my mom, I believe.
Okay, your mom, so the fog starts to lift. What do you see in that picture?
The first thing that comes up is when I found her. This is kind of graphic, but when I found her laying on the floor, I was maybe 4 years old and she had cut her wrist about 6 times.
Okay. Okay, so you are literally tied very, very strongly to that. Okay. So I can only imagine what that felt like for you and how lost and hopeless that you felt. Okay. But right now, we need you, as Wendy, beautiful queen that you are, we need you to go into that room and step with that 4-year-old.
Do what?
Just step right behind her. Step right behind her.
Okay.
And this is going to sound selfish, okay? But it's not. Don't pay attention to your mom laying on the floor right now. She disappears, okay? And I want you to give full focus to the 4-year-old, which is you.
Okay.
And you're in that light.
She's gone. She's not on the floor anymore.
Yeah, because we cast her away. But anyway, so but I need you to cut the cords. Okay, I need you to take like this magical pair of scissors, take that 4-year-old and cut the cords around her arm. Like close your eyes and do it. Like really, really feel the release of those cords around your arms. Okay, now I need you to shake, like sit up once, like shake your arms. Like if you just been tied, you're gonna be like this, right? You're going to get that energy out. Shake it out and then let it go. Just let yourself go. Let it go the way it needs to. You might notice like your back kind of snaking and move your head if it needs to. And just breathe that out.
Wow.
Okay. Okay, guys, you were actually a really good example. So with that, and I want to tell you, I've seen some, if you ever see those energy healing videos where people are on the floor shaking, this is kind of what's happening because like the cords were tied around her arm, right? When she cut the cords and you start to move the arms and your body starts to do all these movements because it's recalibrating. So whenever you free something from the quantum, the body adjusts, and that's where that kind of shaking and that the quantum assimilation comes in. So when we do the healing at the end, if your body starts to move, allow it to move. And so and this is when we can go right into movement. I'm very big into movement. I have healed my body doing movement. Like I've done movement for 32 hours
Can
before.
I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
I don't see her on the floor anymore. I just see the color of the linoleum. But one of the things that stuck out to me is I always seen the watch she had on, her mother's watch, and it had blood in it. And that watch keeps flickering up right now. Why is that?
Okay. So did you know her mother?
Yeah, her mother was pretty important in my life.
Okay, because you need to, and remember, no matter how much you love somebody, you still need to cut the cords to them. So you need to cut the cord to
Yeah,
your grandmother. So that's the cord. Now this I can feel it's behind your heart chakra. Like so
yeah.
in the back, there's a cord there because you love her. So it is manifesting in the back of the heart. But remember, no matter how much you love someone, you got to cut the cords. So I want you to cut that cord to your grandmother. Free her of everything that you thought she should be, you know her to be, and vice versa. And let you show up.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd already felt a big release off my chest when we did my mother, but I really felt that.
So then don't forget to do the movements. Like put your shoulders back like this. So sit up put your shoulders back because we want to release and start to kind of rock, move around. You want to get your body to, okay. Whew. Okay. So,
Wow.
yeah. So when we do, thank you for bringing that up. I was going to go forward. So when we do the movement, so remember, guys, what it is it's just you're bringing up something, okay? You're releasing it, but then you're inviting your body to do whatever movement you need to do around it. Like a, and I know we can't teach that whole thing right now, but what you'll notice is the shape shifting. Okay, we teach this in play. It's the when you start to do the movements, and this is what happened to me because I did movements for 32 hours once, just healing my everything in my life. I would be like, why I was turning into a snake. Then one time I was turning into like I was swimming, and then I started to mermaid, and then I started to fly. So you're going to start shape shifting into things, and your body's going to start to do all these movements. So shape shifting is a really powerful way to heal. Um, and it's one of the things about energy healing too. It's you do not heal through your brain. Your brain is a hamster wheel like this. Like we got to get out of the brain. So one thing about energy work is you don't want to focus on what your brain has to say. You want to let that go. Okay, so everybody take a deep breath and we're gonna, because you guys are still surrounded in that white light with that beautiful pillar going through your Kundalini center. I want you to just put whatever the cords are attached to, because I want to make sure you guys actually really let these go in that pot in the center. And the pot's just getting hotter and hotter. As we put more stuff in there, it's heating it up. And we need it to get to boiling. Okay, so I'm being told by spirit to actually go over this right now. I wasn't going to, but for some reason I'm being told to do it. So, we all have all-seeing hands, right? Our hands are very powerful. We can tap into our healing hands. It does things without your brain even commanding it. And so there's some really cool healings that can be done with the all-seeing hand. What I want you to do is I want you to feel your all-seeing hand, because I'm being told by spirit that people's hands are activating right now. And you're going to feel like this kind of like a vibration through your hands, and just move your fingers like this. Okay.
Rebecca, is the tingling I've been feeling for about 2 or 3 weeks, is that what that is in my fingers and my hand?
Yeah, your hands are activating. So you want to let them activate. You want to move them to activate. And sometimes you can clap and they'll start activating. And then, like, let's say you have a space on your body. So, one of the things with weight release too, huge, is touching yourself, giving your body love. Because a lot of people are not fully in their bodies. And when you're not fully in your body, you're leaving like an empty vessel. And that empty vessel is just getting filled with whatever discarnate energies that you're imprints that you're picking up from people. So we want to be in our bodies. So when you would just take your hand and lovingly touch your body all over and say, I love you. I adore you. You're beautiful. You start to come back in that vessel. When you come back in the vessel and it's filled, you're going to release the discarnate energies, the imprints, the things that are making you hold on to the weight. Okay, so I'm going to use somebody else as an example. So, Luis, how about you? Okay, yeah, there you
Yes.
go. Okay, okay. So let's just go right into weight. Let's go right into weight, because you guys are here because this is the weight release webinar. So, Luis, tell me a little bit, like, if you were coming in, you're saying, I want to release weight. Tell me about that.
I want to release weight because, well, not because, it's part of everything else I'm releasing. And I have categorized it in the past. And when I've worked on it before, I've only categorized it separately. And I want to learn to be mindful about bringing that to my physical body and using my own skills that I've learned to let that go so I can live in that energy. And I know I do it, but it's not consistent because I have a family that's Italian and food is love. And so when I self-love or try and heal, my program has always been you need to eat.
Okay, so can I kind of, you just brought up something that I need to say, but I'm going to go right back to you. Remember, when you guys get into the frequency of love, you can eat whatever you want. So what I've done, and I don't do this because I don't believe in anything that's dysfunctional, but I do this for a reason. So when I gain weight, when I gain like 5 pounds or 10 pounds, even like, because I've the most I've gained since all my weight release has been like 10 pounds, I will be like, okay, Rebecca, what is going on here? And it's never about the food, ever about the food. So let me tell you this. My husband and I went to England, Italy, Costa Rica in these 2 months. So we were traveling all around, right? We get to Italy. You want to talk about some good food? Oh,
Mhm.
and they love bread and the pasta. I ate so much pasta, and I could like their sauce is amazing. I was like, I can't even believe how good this food is, right? But we were in such a good energy. We were eating, you know how the gelato in Italy, like they love the gelato, and my daughter was eating the ice cream, and so I didn't gain 1 pound. Didn't gain 1 pound. Okay, but I was a happy person while I was eating that food. I was in a flow. We were sitting at a table with our daughter painting the scenery. We were in such a beautiful space, like laughing, seeing his friends. He had lived in Italy for 6 years, and I got to meet his friends. I sat at a dinner for 3 hours while everybody spoke Italian, including him, my husband. I had no idea what they were saying. Okay, so um came back to my house and started getting into my normal Rebecca's working too much cycle. 5 pounds came on within like a day. And the Rebecca's working too much, stuck in our energy cycle. So I weigh myself at least every other day because sometimes I don't realize I'm getting myself into that cycle. And that weight is a measurement for me. And I don't beat up on myself and be like, you just gained 5 pounds, you pig. I say, where are you stuck, Rebecca, in your energy? Oh, you are stuck in your cycle. You need to flow. I go back into the flow state, the 5 pounds releases. If I didn't weigh myself and I'm stuck in my stuck state, I might not realize it till 30 pounds later. So sometimes the scale is a really good measurement to make sure you're in the flow. But I'm telling you, it is not the food, it's the flow. So the reason I'm saying that, Luis, is because I want you to know that you can love the food. If you're in that energy, you're not going to pig out on the food. Well, I mean, I didn't pig out, but it was good. But you're not normally going to pig out on the food. You're going to eat it in a loving state and it's going to
But I'm
process.
going to go, sorry to interrupt you. I'm going to ask you about this because it goes even deeper. Since I've been doing all this stuff with you guys, it's shown me the deep stuff. So because I am very different and have different values, I've like become myself and healed a lot. It's not matching the energy of my family. And what I've come to figure out is that I've always believed that eating will keep me attached to my family. Eating will
Ah.
make me approved and loved by my feelings, so if I stop the eating, I'm actually rejecting my family.
Okay, so that's like that makes a lot of sense. That's how people bond.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that bond off of eating, even social. So this will bring up a lot of stuff. Okay, okay, so that's a big cord that you need to cut. Um,
Yes.
so I already know that this goes down for you. Like when you said you want to bring this into every other part of your life, it's going into intimacy. Now, I I don't know, but you look like you've lost a few pounds.
I have I have
Okay.
lost quite a bit of weight. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so and it's when you started healing, right? And getting with your fam and
And
your kid.
and actually my family is not I'm not we're not together right now, and I'm actually doing so much better. I don't know how to be with them and not gain that weight back.
Okay. But I do want to say that since you've been getting into your heart, working on your intimacy and attachments, you've lost the weight.
Yes,
I
absolutely,
noticed right when I
100%.
looked at you, but I don't know if some people don't like to be told, yeah, you look like you lost weight. But I noticed when I saw you right away. Okay, so let's just go there so you can be a testament. What made you release that weight?
It was during the awake process. So when I took out the conditional love towards others, um, I looked at my children as beautiful souls that I just wanted to love,
That's
and it just broke down everything. I mean, it was like immediately as when I reached out to my older daughter, she was so open. It was like the world just changed almost overnight. And since then, I've let go of so many other things have been easier to let go of since then. So I think that was like a major block. And I was much heavier during that.
okay, so you cutting those cords to how you thought they should be there and let them show up for who
Yes.
they were, release the weight.
Yes,
Okay, so
exactly.
now you have a cord. How much did you release, by the way?
23 pounds.
Okay. Okay, so now that you, and I'm gonna ask you one more question, and then we'll go to your family. Do you have to starve yourself?
No.
Okay.
No, it's funny when you were talking about that because I had this spirit was talking to me and saying over and over, like, it's not about what you're eating, it's not about your diet. Like, just go into your authentic self and you'll be able to. So I just let myself and I'm gonna bring out what you brought up, my passion. My passion has come out and it's on fire. I'm painting again and I forget about eating. I forget about it. I'm like so happy and joyful in doing things that serve my self-love, and I am much freer to give love to others. And like food isn't, I'm not going to it. It's not a place to go.
Okay. Okay. But when you do eat it, do you feel like you're in a good frequency when you're eating it?
Oh yeah. I mean, like I don't worry about what I'm eating now. Like when I was trying to diet, it's funny when you were talking about the cravings, because when I was starting to diet, I was getting huge, huge cravings. And I just was like, what is going on? Like, it was almost like I have to eat. Like, it wasn't just a craving, it was like, you better do it or else. And so I just observed it and let it go and drank a lot of water. And then later on, I was able to go back and say, what was going on in the back of my mind during that period. So that was kind of like my diet plan was more like, when are you eating? And so I am so different now. Like I enjoy eating again. But when I'm with my family, if I don't eat, they get mad. So this is the
Yeah, okay.
conundrum I'm
Okay, so
in.
we're gonna go into that. And then something else that you said that's I want to so water, everybody's heard drink a lot of water, right? But when you drink that water, bless it too. So there's an experiment that, I forget it was Hashimoto who did that, where you program the water, right? You program the molecular structure of the water. And I've done this so many times with like unconditional love and compassion and whatever you want to infuse it with, right? Imagination's creation, focus and intent is energy, and then drink the water too. That would be very helpful. But okay, so we're going into which is going right in your TMJ, by the way, Louise. Um, your family. Okay, so I'm feeling so, like the cord going right up here around your TMJ, maybe even in the ears to your family. Okay, so open your mouth like this, and just release that. And move around if you need to. Well, that was getting stuck. Okay, that was getting stuck. Okay, we want to pull that out. Okay, so we'll go into that right now. I want you to relax, and you're very good at this work. Okay, you're inspiring. You've got this nice little rosy glow right up here, by the way. But just relax and follow the chords. Now relax deeper. Now I need you to slightly roll your eyes in the back of your head and then give me a yawn. Okay, so now tell me about those cords and where they are leading to.
They are leading to a place where I wasn't enough in my family. They're leading to a fir a child who wasn't seen and could only feel seen when I participated what everyone wanted me to do because more I was more talented and had other things my sister and brother didn't have. So when I gave more and showed off, I was seen and then I would be unseen again. And so that's the chord. I mean, that's the major chord. It's like, in order to be seen, I need to be an integral part of the family. The chord is self-love, to the family is self-love. Like I have to separate those.
Okay, but what I want to, so it was interesting. You said the chord, so NLP is like listening to what people say and going back to it, remember to, you said the
Yes.
chord is a place where, so I want you to see the place where this chord is leading. There's an actual situation or place or room that you're in where you're not seeing,
Yeah.
like, what are you seeing there?
Um, I'm seeing, it's funny when you said that because I could see a place. I'm seeing being in my house growing up in the kitchen. My mom's friends are
Or-
there and they're telling me I'm too thin and they're pinching even my breasts saying, there's nothing, what are you going to develop? And I'm feeling like an object.
Okay, so we're going into that place. I need you to go there. And I'm feeling this right here. It's like, it's almost like that's what I'm feeling. And the cord in that kitchen, because
I'm getting like huge waves right now too.
yeah, it's like right here. So, but I need you to cut that cord, but you're gonna have to have some strength to cut this cord because you really love the people in that room. Um,
Yeah.
and it's okay. It's okay. You still love them, but I need you to cut the cord in the neck, and then I need you to let your neck kind of roll as it assimilates. Cut that. Actually, take your hands like I'm doing and cut it. Like, because you
Okay.
feel these waves, you got to be part of those waves that you said you were feeling. Go into those waves and let yourself move. And then take those scissors and cut it. Now let yourself go through a release. Let yourself move through that release.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel my heart like just letting go.
Also your vocal cords, like work on, like touch your vocal cord,
Oh,
like tap on your vocal cord.
oh,
Yeah. Like and you can, whatever noise you need to make. Yeah. Oh, that feels so much better in your back.
yeah, it's going down my spine.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. So really stretch that back out. Yeah. Now, guys, if she followed through with this movement for a long time, she would start snaking. And so what would be good for you, Luis, is to actually stick your tongue out like a snake would and hiss while you're moving. Like do that at the same time. Yeah, let it go. Yeah. Yeah. Good, 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 good.
Feels really good.
Yeah, yeah, you did a huge release there. So now when you do this type of release and you behaviorally get in front of your family again, remember the boundaries. So tell me the boundaries, spiritual, emotional, physical. Because we don't want you to avoid your family, but tell me about your boundaries. And the boundaries aren't even like walls. It's more like,
No.
I know who I am. This is me.
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
my boundaries are different. I can listen without feeling like people are coming into my space. I no longer give permission for someone else's need to become a planted seed in my psyche. The boundary is I love people and I love who they are, but I do not need to bring that into my field. That boundary is, I know it's going to be difficult as far as this, my boundaries is the more, and this happens in psychology too, of course, like the more I separate and feel different and look different and behave different, the more they push inward, and the more they almost not consciously but subconsciously try and invoke something from me. And so I feel strong right now, believing that I am in my highest frequency, and I will be. No one can take that away but myself. And so I can listen to them and I can love them, but the boundary is I will eat what I want to eat. I will speak what I want to speak, because you got that from the reason that there's a problem in the family is I felt very comfortable standing up and speaking my mind, which is a loving way. It was very loving. And the entire family looked at me like I had two heads, and they won't speak to me because there's a certain way you're supposed to do it. Dad's the only one who could speak his mind. And now I'm like, it's okay. Like, I'm not angry with them. Like, so now it's like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm not, the boundary with me is actually within myself. I no longer am attached to, nor do I want to attach to the person who needed to be approved of.
Okay.
So, I'm going to eat what I want to, I'm going to say what I want to, and I'm not going to be insulted or hurt when someone doesn't like it or disagrees. I'm not going to go back to who I used to be because I don't need that anymore. And I'm willing to let them see me as I am. So the boundary with them is either you love who I am now, or it's okay if you need space because I love you wherever you are. That's that's the major boundary for me.
Okay, good. Good. So you're just that dancing flame and you're going to be that dancing flame. Okay, perfect.
Thank you, Rebecca. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Thank you. Very, very inspiring. Um, okay, guys, so now we're going to go into, because I'm also picking this up from the group, not wanting to be seen. So sometimes when people don't want to be seen and they want to be invisible, they hide themselves under a bunch of like body weight. Or they could be scared of intimacy. Maybe they're scared of being hurt. And so Mindy, you're off mute now. Can I use you as an example?
I think I figured it out.
Okay.
I might not figure out how to go back on mute.
Well, it's weird because I really needed to do that with Luis. So, and now
Apparently
this,
so.
this is important. It was whenever I brought this subject up that I saw you're off mute. So let's go into you. And is there any time in your life where you feel like you don't want to be seen, that you just want to be invisible?
Yes, there are times. And one of the realizations that I have come to is that when I am in my highest frequency, other people often are intimidated and they will reject because of the intimidation. And rejection is sort of a trigger for me. Um, one of the one of the challenges I have with my weight is I have carried the weight of responsibility for emotions in my family, because a lot of people in my family were not taught healthy coping skills growing up. I turned into a trauma specialist. So one of the things since I've been doing the Awake program that I've noticed is that I've not only carried their weight and my own, I've carried the weight of generations and ancestral trauma that only I could release. During one of the episodes of COVID that I had, my grandmother, who had been passed away for about 11 years, came to me and said, "You've been tasked to heal what no other generation before you could." And I didn't really catch what she meant at the time. And since then, it's been layer after layer of understanding. And some of that has been through my physical body, through my emotional body, through my spiritual body, my etheric body. I've been releasing, and I'm down to a point now with the physical that I actually have a bone infection that is in the big toe of my right foot, where I have been releasing a lot of this energy because my natural way of releasing is to release on the right side and
Mm-hmm.
to go downward out the toes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't realize that it had manifested into a physical issue. I didn't put two and two together right at first, and now I have. And so I'm having to involve medical personnel at this point instead of just relying on my own. I
Okay,
would
so
like to be able to rely on my own.
let's do this. Okay, let's do this. Now you have to be open. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so one thing that I'm very big in Awake, and you guys know this, is everything's a mirror. Okay, so this is how we're going to work on this. You said, you know, that if you're too high of a frequency, that the people in your life reject you. Okay, so as a mirror, I would say, why are you attracting low frequency people?
Hmm.
Okay, so we're going to go into that. When we heal that, because the left side is the divine feminine, by the way, and that's where it's stuck, is in the toe, the big toe, which is
On the
refined.
right side.
Oh, right
It's
side.
stuck
Okay.
in the right side.
Right side. Okay, so that's the masculine. That's the masculine.
Right.
Okay, that's like
Right.
being taken care of. Okay, so it's being taken care of, being able to have faith, feeling protected. So we're gonna kind of work on that. So let's go into, you're looking in a mirror, right? And there's this shadow energy. A shadow energy, you guys, by the way, very big word, is a part of you that you put in a closet
Mhm.
that you want to hide. Okay, so and shadows develop quite innocently. Like it could be like, I'm trying to give you guys a really good example. Like
Incapable.
I like to spontaneously dance in public at the age of 4. And I noticed that when I spontaneously dance in public at the age of 4, my mom starts yelling at me. So I have to put that dancing Rebecca in the closet because no one likes her. Okay. And then the dancing Rebecca, who's ignored, is turning into a shadow because I put her in the closet, and then she turns into a monster, right? And she doesn't seem like, it could be the Rebecca then that gets drunk and goes out dancing and does toxic things at the age of 25. But if the little dancing Rebecca wouldn't have been rejected, then you wouldn't have the alcoholic dancing Rebecca, right? So the shadow turned into a monster. So if we go back to that shadow and say, hey, you know what? I love you. Come here, dancing Rebecca. Let's put that joy in. Your shadow's gone. Okay. So Mindy, we're going to do this with you. So you're looking in the mirror and you're looking at that shadow energy in you that's attracting those people that aren't accepting your high frequency. And it's actually a part of you that's not accepting your high frequency because it's a shadow.
Mhm.
Tell me where that leads you. Where did that shadow begin where you felt like
Three.
3? Okay, tell me about it.
Three. Hiding in a closet with my mom and my baby sister, and there was no closet door but a bead curtain. I can still hear the bead curtain. Um, there was in my 3-year-old mind, there was a monster at the door. And if I moved, if I made any sound, if I acted human, um, that made any kind of any if I did anything to indicate our location, then the monster was, I didn't have a concept of death yet, but I had a concept of hurt. So in my mind, I would be responsible for not just myself being hurt, I would be responsible for my mom and my sister being hurt as well. So I learned to be very stiff and still. So
Not
my
being
trauma,
seen.
yes, not being
That's
seen,
why I called on
not
you, not
being
being seen.
hurt,
Yeah.
not being seen. Yes.
Yeah.
So if you don't see me, you can't hurt me.
Okay. Okay. So this is okay. And so take a deep breath. wow, you go in your heart during that time was actually beating slower. You quieted your heartbeat. Can you feel that?
Mhm.
So we definitely want to get that. So can you do a couple fire breaths right now? Just like, just and put your hand on your chest, breathing out to your hand. Imagine your hand getting caught on fire, like your hand just being fire, but not in a bad way, like a good way. Okay, we got to get that heart moving. Okay. Okay. Whew. Okay. So we've got that 3-year-old that's sort of in a catatonic state of being. So before that happened, can you remember the you that you pushed in the closet? Like, who were you before having to hide yourself? Like, I was that dancing Rebecca that hid
I
herself.
think the playful, because I do tend to take myself a little too seriously. I'm aware of that. And I think my playful side, it takes a little bit for my playful side to come out. So my my sense is that my playfulness was dampered. Not that it necessarily went completely in a closet, but it was dampered.
Okay.
And the anxiety of, are we safe, of course, was birthed.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to want you, I mean, can you stand up? Because I need you to step on your toe.
Which toe? Because I don't want to
Well,
step on my big toe.
no, just not like, don't, you don't have to hurt it, but I need it to touch the ground at least. I need it to ground. Okay.
Let me take my, okay.
So you said it's infected, right?
It's in the bone, in the bottom part of the toe bone, large toe, the big toe.
Okay.
And it's
So,
from, I was going to say there was a little hole in the side of my foot where, long story short, the tendon failed and my toe went sideways, creating kind of like a bunion, but it, from being rubbed with my tennis shoe from walking, it made a hole that just burrowed straight to the bone. And then I
yeah,
got some kind of germ in it.
yeah, that happened to me before, but nothing manifests in the physical unless it's in the quantum. So
Right,
you
right.
even said at the beginning you were working through stuff in a wake. You thought you had
Yes,
worked through everything, and then this toe thing comes on. I think
right.
this is what's blocking that final release, like that. That's why I want you to stand up, and I want you to be as comfortable as possible when we're doing this. Okay, so this is a lot to do with your heart chakra, by the way. And like you had said, it's a lot about feeling protected and safe. Um,
I actually have a hole in my heart too.
oh,
Yep, the
because
PFO.
when were you diagnosed with that?
The PFO, I was diagnosed with that like 3 years ago, I think. And I didn't have it as a child, as far as I know, but that's usually something that's caught in childhood, but I didn't have it as a child.
Remember I said
That
there's
was,
something, I said your heart, like you were slowing down your
yeah, I
heartbeat.
have palpitations.
Yeah, so like you were slowing that down. So that's a
Mhm.
pattern that was created. So we need to go into that energy. Okay, so what I need you to just be very positive and playful right now. Just relax and know that you're in a safe space. Okay, you really, really are. Um, and then I want you to look in the closet. And just like Wendy did, I want you to make everybody else disappear.
Wait, am I looking into the closet from outside of the closet or from inside the closet?
You're looking at you in the closet. You're a 3-year-old.
Okay, I'm looking at me in the closet. Gotcha. Okay.
You're letting everybody else disappear because didn't you say you were in the closet with somebody else, your mom and somebody?
And my baby sister. Yeah.
You need them to disappear because this is about you right now. Um,
Okay.
so in this vision, it's just you.
Okay.
And I want you to look at yourself and I want you to notice really how frozen you are. Look at that, look
Mhm.
how frozen. Okay, so with what you know now, and you're looking at the shadow is that playful little girl who wanted to be seen, who didn't think she had to be invisible. That's the shadow. But then you know, she turned frozen after all that happened. So, but we want her to come out. We want her to come out before she was stuffed in the closet. So give her, like, have you ever heard, because we're going to use your heart right now. And you know that hole that you were diagnosed with in your heart?
Mm-hmm.
That hole is there so that you can take that beautiful, positive, all that is energy and shoot it through that hole to that girl in the closet. Love, compassion, forgiveness, healing. Give her that healing energy. You're breathing through that space in your heart. Now, is she receiving it?
Initially, I saw it kind of just go around her like an egg, like
Okay.
surrounding her. So I guess so. Yes.
Yeah, so she has your heart. You guys have the same heart. And you're going to use the hole in your heart to project that all that healing light into her heart so that you can heal that heart pattern. Okay? And once she knows that she's you and you're her, she will accept it. And then when she starts accepting it, just breathe. Do some slow breaths. Just breathe. Breathe. And each time you breathe, and each time you accept your own breath and you let yourself exhale, she starts to thaw out like frozen, like Elsa or Anna, she thawed, right? True love. It's gonna thaw her out. And then she starts to realize no one's here, it's just me. I'm safe. And she opens her eyes. What does she look like when you're looking at her?
Well, immediately what I saw after the the energy went from my heart to hers was she just kind of like made a little goofy little dance move and then gave me a funny face like so I was like, okay, there's that playfulness. I can see that. I feel that coming from her. But she's still in the closet. Like she's being playful in the closet.
Okay. Okay, so then tell her, say, come out
Okay, so come out. Come
and say,
out.
"Well, I'm ready to dance with this shadow.
Yes,
Ready to
let's dance
integrate."
together.
Yeah. And then really feel the energy as you guys are together. Let her become part of you. Feel her walk into you. Make sure to take some strong deep breaths and feel the energy go through actually both of your feet, all 10 of your toes.
Well, I had that image of, like when you're little and you dance on your daddy's feet kind of thing. I had that image of her standing on my feet and we were
Okay.
dancing together.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then as much as you can, just wiggle your toes, even kinesthetically, just start wiggling your toes. Now I feel now you can sit down because this is going to finish at the end when we do the healing. Um, but there is Kundalini energy up your spine right now too. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Between your shoulder blades, like the back of your heart. So how would you even know before you were diagnosed with this hole that you had it?
How would I
Like
know?
like
There was
palpitation?
two things. Well, I actually three, but one was the palpitations was the physical sign. Two, grief. Um, Feeling like somebody was absent in my life that had passed away. Actually, it was multiple people in my life that had passed away, and some had passed away tragically. And then tapping into that ancestral line where some of my ancestors had witnessed horrible deaths. I had a Native American grandmother who witnessed somebody pick up a toddler by their feet. And I won't be graphic, but they killed a child to make the Native Americans move and get on the trail. And that was their manipulation
Okay.
tactics. So a lot of the energy that is surrounding the hole in my heart has to do with this lifehood, this experience of mine in this lifehood, but also that of uh, people who come before me, people I came from.
Okay, so then let's do this. Put your hand over your heart, okay? And right where you imagine the hole to be. And I want you to feel the heat from your hand, but I want you to feel the 3-year-old you as well. And I want you to feel her fill that heart up.
Can I
And
add something real quick?
yeah,
Last February, I actually had surgery to remove a cyst from the pericardium around my heart. Um, we don't know how the cyst got there. I have various cysts in my body, and I think it's my body's immune system fighting various things, honestly. But after I had the surgery, a day and a half later, I had a stroke. I had a stroke in the occipital lobe, which affected my vision. And I have regained 95% of what I lost. And that last little 5% gives me a depth to my clairvoyance and my vision, such that I can paint really well. I've had 2 art shows now. So I've learned to heal a lot of what has gone on in my heart. But this particular thing, I think that you're really honing in on something that's very important to me.
yes, yes, because it's so go, but take a deep breath and go inward. Like go into your command center, which is the field of the heart. You're sitting in that command chair, and I want you to feel that very powerful warm energy as that 3-year-old you is being integrated. I want you to see, feel, know, and experience that heart filling up. And it's not in it's interesting because we don't it's going to fill up and it's going to completely heal, but it's still very translucent. Like your heart is still moving. There can be energy moving through it even when the hole closes. You know what I mean? It's very fluid. So feel that. But then we got to go into, okay, taking that DNA that we talked about and putting that in the pot and ready to change the story. People can be trusted. There isn't trauma everywhere. You know what I mean? Going in there and having faith, trust, and feeling protected in your everyday life. When you're seen, see yourself being seen. And when you allow yourself to be seen, I want you to feel yourself attract your soul tribe, which is high frequency people. And not only that, when you're healing this, you're healing everybody that you try to work on. All the people that you're working on that are experiencing trauma are going to heal by this activation that you're doing for yourself. Yeah, that feels good. Good. How does that feel?
Satisfying.
Okay, so
I would
we
almost say purging, but it's not the same exact feeling as purging. It's a different feeling. More like a merging.
merging. Okay, so let's
Merging instead of purging.
merging. Okay, so we want to go beyond satisfying. Okay, so we're going to go beyond. So we want to get we want to get a little bit more joy than just satisfying. I want you to breathe deep into that satisfaction, right? But I want you to turn the light on in the field of the heart. Give yourself permission to really be seen and flow and know that you're safe. It's like you're a bonfire that can be seen from miles away.
I think what's coming up for me, Rebecca, is a fear that I don't want to have of disappointing. Like I know that I'm a beacon. I know that. Um, and I fear letting people down. Fear
Okay,
that
so that you got to cut the cords to
that's
people.
there.
Yeah, so right now you can't have any cords to anybody. Like, if you're scared you're letting someone down, you've got a cord to them. So
So what happened was, as you said that about healing those that I'm working with and stuff, I immediately saw myself as that beacon. And then I saw clients around me and then just other people that I know. And then I had the sense of obligation and responsibility.
when I say immediate, you do nothing. Your field heals them. You're doing nothing. Imagine just sitting there
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
doing nothing.
Yeah.
That's what,
Yeah.
that's what you activate yourself.
Got you. I
Okay,
got
so
you.
you're not doing anything. So I need you to cut
Right.
those cords around everybody,
Yes,
because the only
yes,
person that you're going to disappoint is yourself. You're your own.
yes.
Um,
Got you.
and so feel that like
I
fluid
do. I do
move.
now.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's kind of like this. If you, that's what I'm feeling, and then pull that from the throat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Good. 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 Okay. So now, how are you feeling?
A little giggly.
Okay. Okay. Good. 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 Okay. Okay. Good. Okay, guys. So thank you for that, Mindy.
Thank you.
Welcome. In about 10 minutes, we're gonna, well, not 10 minutes, in about 5 minutes, we're gonna start the actual healing that I have planned. But does anybody have any questions about anything before we start? There's 2 things in the chat. I'm gonna read that. Okay, so someone asked, can we do Kundalini yoga while we are in infrared sauna if there's enough room for the poses? Absolutely. I actually do that. So I have an infrared sauna at home, and they're very good because they get into, like, steam saunas only go to about 2% in for releasing the toxins, and infrared saunas go 20% in to release toxic stuff. So infrared saunas are really, really good for so many reasons. And yes, if you have enough room, definitely do the yoga. Okay, so Wendy, how about you?
I wanted to ask you a question. I sent you a message on this. I don't know if you've seen it, but my sister that I took care of, which I felt cords of her today, and I cut them, passed away on July the 8th. But after she passed away, and I was trying to process those emotions, because in the past, I didn't normally do that. When people passed away, I just pushed those emotions down. I felt something else coming up, and it felt like it was my first husband that passed away, that I never fully processed it. And I'm just wondering if you see anything on that, or is it
Let's take
something
that.
different?
Let's take that out of your heart like this, and let's put it in that pot we're about ready to do. Put it about that, because I think it's just about, once again, you're just cutting that cord, and you're giving yourself permission to let go and release. So we're going to transcend that for sure.
Okay.
Um, and then Nicole says, if there's not one specific situation, but we feel like we are disappointing the same person over and over again, pick one instance and use that to cut the cords. So what I'm feeling, Nicole, is it's a mirror, right? So that person is actually a part of you. And so I want you to look at that. And we can do this. We actually have a few minutes. Do you want to turn your sound off, or can you unmute it?
Sure. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
unmuted.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so this is definitely a mirror. So when you're in any type of relationship where a pattern keeps replaying itself, it is like going right to you. So you're looking in the mirror, and first, tell me how you feel you're disappointing that person.
Okay. So this would be specific to my husband, and I know that it's me because it's stuff that I put on myself, that like if something isn't good enough or something isn't enough. And as I've kind of been exploring this whole thing, it feels like it's like a strong masculine presence that I feel like I'm disappointing, or that is going to judge me. So it doesn't matter if it actually happens or not. It's just that I feel that's going to happen.
Okay,
And it is like authority and strong male.
okay, okay. So it's okay. So hold on. Okay, so you have a distorted view of the masculine. Okay, so let's go into that.
Okay.
Okay, so your first perception of masculinity, when was that?
It's gotta be my dad.
Okay, take a deep breath. And this is no, like, so the masculine view, as you know, it's just now that I'm meeting guys in their 20s that understand what divine masculine is, like ability to share their feelings and communicate and do tantra and yoga. Like these guys now in their 20s, they've got it going on. Like really, it's actually interesting. But what was your dad's, like, how was he a man? Like what, if you asked your dad, What makes you a man? What would he say?
He would say that he, you know, takes care of his family, that he always shows up, he's always there, and he's keeping things like on the straight and narrow.
Okay. So does that feel burdensome if you're in his energy?
I think that it definitely could. Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
feels like obligation.
Yes. And was there room in his definition of masculine to express his needs or hurts or wants?
No, he was very closed off about his own needs or hurts.
Okay. Okay. So now I got to go back to what you said. Like, so when you feel like you're disappointing your husband, if I were to look at him and say, how does Nicole disappoint you? What would you imagine his answer to be?
Like what he would actually say or
Now, what
what
you
I would
think,
imagine.
what you
Uh,
think?
oh, I think it would be like, the tiniest little thing of, the house isn't picked up enough, or, you didn't make enough money this month in your business, or like
Okay.
it
Okay.
could be literally anything.
Okay. So you're going back, and then you said that about your dad having to show up and take care. And okay. So we're going to go into that. So right now it's just going to be you and your dad. Okay. So how did you grow up like really loving your dad? Like, what was that like? Okay. So sometimes that love can actually kind of be, but because you love him so much, you took that on. But if you love your dad so much, you're going to take on his view of masculinity, right? He was such a good man. Okay. So what we're going to do for you is we're going to see that in you. We're going to see that part of you that turned into him. The part of you that's stoic, has to be perfect, has to show up. Things have to be great. You got to be there for your family. You have to make things better. You can't be a burden for your family. Okay. So but you really got to cut that cord. So what I need, but because there's an imprint of him in you. And so take a deep breath, and you're going to want to do this. Like you want to remove that imprint, which is almost like a soul fragment too of his. So we can hold on to other people's soul fragments. So you've got to command that out. Is he passed away now? Okay. What did he pass away of?
Heart attack.
Okay. Okay. So, and that you can see where living like that could lead up to your heart having an attack, right? So we got to remove this pattern from your quantum field. So first of all, let's take the cord between your heart and his heart and cut it. Did you successfully do that? Okay. Take a deep breath. Breathe through your heart space like it has a mouth. And remember, guys, anything that we're doing here, and I send you the recording, you can do this for yourself and go through these exercises. And you can do it now as well. Okay, so I need you to see him when you cut that cord. When you cut the cord, it's releasing it from him. It's releasing him from that burden. Like, not that you're a burden, but it's the same burden you guys been holding on to. It's a collective burden. So free yourself of it, because you're healing your DNA. You're going to heal him. Free yourself of that. I have to do this. I need to be this. This is my responsibility. Like, free yourself of that. And then feel him stand up and walk out of you. That's the imprint of him. Actually feel him stand up and walk out of you. And really feel this through your third eye and your physical eyes. Okay, so now, first of all, can you tell me, does that feel clear before we do the downloads?
Yeah, it feels like less cluttered. I'm not like cluttered, but like more room.
Okay, because we need room to put the divine masculine energy in there. Okay, so what is left? You said there's more room because you're supposed to have equal divine masculine and divine feminine in you. So we're clearing
Oh,
the masculine to
I'm
be
I'm in there. That's what's in there.
Okay, perfect. Okay, okay. So you're in there. Okay. So how does that feel with you just being in there, but not him?
It's a little different because I've been holding him really, really close.
And he is, trust me, he is still connected to you on that heart level. But you'll get to see him more clearly now, like his true soul. Okay, so then what is his true soul actually? This may really help. And I know we're gonna run over a little bit, guys, but it'll be worth it. Um, what is his true soul without all of the egotistical programming?
Oh, it is. It's like an eagle. It gets really free.
Free. Okay, so an eagle. What else do you, when you think of an eagle, besides being free, what do you think of?
I think of an eagle being really, really precise. I think of them being really, like I said, free and watchful. They're really watchful.
Okay. When you say watchful, what does that mean?
I mean, like when they're flying like way up above, they can see everything that's happening below.
So
They can see a teeny tiny mouse,
they're
like in
connected.
a field.
They're
Yeah.
connected. They're connected. They're omnipresent, basically. Okay, so yeah, so that's connected. Everything can see everything. So go into that part of yourself, that free, connected. You can be free and connected at the same time, right? The freedom and being connected to everything that is, knowing what's going on, having that all that is knowledge, and reacting intuitively. Can you feel that? That's divine masculine. That's masculine. That's masculine. And that's the way that you're going to project yourself to your husband, because your husband is the masculine that you love, which you had that masculine in you. It just was like kind of like butting up against each other. Yeah, because I asked you what you would think your husband would say, but what would he truly say? If I asked him, what would he really say?
What you can truly say is only good things.
Okay. Yeah. So see your husband as the eagle and see yourself as the eagle, and you two are flying together.
I like that a lot because that puts us at the same level, and I put him way up here and me
Oh,
like way down
yeah.
below.
Yeah. And kind of make that flying motion, if you don't mind, like an eagle would. Do you mind doing the
Yeah.
move? I'm really big into
Yeah.
movements and things. Um,
And it feels like it's more like not like heavy down low, but like buoyant up high.
okay, this is perfect. So I teach this in Awake, but I'm going to bring it in now. So one time I was connected to my angelic guides, and I said to the angels, "How do you fly?" And you know what they said? They said, "It's not how you think we fly, Rebecca. We don't have these things we do in our back." He goes, the angel said, "When we expand our heart, our wings open, and then we fly." That's how they fly. And so then they said, when you want to go someplace in your life, or where you want to do something or be whatever your goal is, your intent is, fly towards it and open your heart to fly, and then let your body do the movements it would be to get there. So let's do that right now. And everybody can do it if they want. So you're looking at your husband and he's looking at you, and you're getting ready to fly and your hearts are opening. And I want you to make the movements as though you're flying. Let your heart expand. Really allow those wings to flap. Let your shoulders release. Let those shoulders release. And let your solar plexus release. Let your solar plexus be a part of this movement. And then release your neck a little bit. Let your neck release and go back in the movement. Good. Okay. Okay. How did that feel for you, Nicole?
Really, like I could like uplifting. or I mean, not like necessarily uplifting, like not a force from under, but like a pulling up.
Okay. Okay, so you're getting pulled up to that level. You're not underneath. Yeah. So let yourself go to that level. Let yourself be that. Yeah. Yeah. Next is a clip from a webinar that I did in Costa Rica. I think it's important because it shows a healing on someone who felt like it would take them too long to lose weight. And that is a symptom of the fight or flight that she was in. And also another participant that was being held back by fear, which is paralyzing, and it was holding in her legs, as well as her neck and back and her hands. And if ignored, can manifest into other physical diseases or illnesses. This is important because all the demonstrations that we did so far and also the upcoming ones are showing you how these energies are stuck in the quantum field and they're manifesting in the physical body, which ultimately will hold weight. Okay, so both Tina, yeah, and Tanya, definitely. Okay, so that kind of goes together because one person said the time that it takes to release the weight, another person said motivation. That's kind of the same thing. And I've actually dealt with this a lot myself because I'll be at the beginning of my journey being like, this is going to take forever. Okay. But then I quickly reframe things. So, because who said time? It was Tina, right? Tina, do you mind coming on? Do you mind speaking?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry to put you in the spot, but I'm going to actually
No, it's okay.
use you as an example. Okay. So, first of all, take a deep breath. And I want everybody to do this if you guys have an issue with the time thing. When you're thinking about the time that it takes to do something, where are you? Because this may sound like a strange question, but it's your body right now. Where are you feeling that in your body?
In my chest and my solar plexus area.
Okay. Okay. So go take a deep breath in your solar plexus.
Mm-hmm.
And breathe through that. And when you focus on your tailbone, what are you feeling?
A little tingly, but not too much there.
Okay. Okay. Do you feel when you're going into your tailbone, do you feel like if you were going to imagine yourself taking energetic poop, does it feel like it's flowing or does you feel stuck?
Feels like it's flowing.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so breathe through that, and breathe and let that energetic poop happen. Just keep doing that. And then as you're doing that, there's these cords that I need to pull out. Okay, so just take some deep breaths. I'm pulling out these cords. The cords, any cords that are not white, we really shouldn't have any cords at all. The only cord that we should have is in our heart spaces. Okay, and it's a white cord. So we're pulling out any of these dark cords through your tailbone. And I want you to feel the release in your heart space when I'm doing this.
Yeah, I really do. I really do.
Okay. Because I thought this was just about the time, but it's not. We're going up through your throat.
Wow.
This is like the hopelessness, discouragement. That's what this is.
Yeah, okay.
And take a deep breath and open your third eye. And then close your eyes. And I want you to move your eyes into a figure 8. Really slow, but keep breathing. Oh, and then move your neck around. Stretch your neck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is hitting your fight or flight. So stretch it, really stretch
Oh,
your
that
neck.
makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because in fight or flight, we don't think we have time, or in survival mode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That makes
Your
total
angel,
sense.
your angel wings, stretch them out back like this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, your body would love you to do these stretches. Yeah, and then, and when I'm doing this for, like, whenever you're working on someone, if you move, you're doing it for them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, in your ears now. So make like a humming noise so you can feel it in your ears, like and pull it out. Okay. Okay. Whew. Does that feel better?
Yeah, feels much lighter.
Okay, so that was a fight or flight response that needed moved. Someone talked about the fear, and fear is once again a fight or flight response, and it's the most paralyzing energy that you could potentially have. I would actually, if you don't have to, but the person who put that, where is it at? If you wanted me to help you, Laura, do you want me to help you with that? Mm, okay.
Sure.
Okay. So it's because once you said that, I just read what you put in the chat. Yesterday, my lower back and legs were holding pain and were very heavy. So I think that's part of the fear manifesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I mean, I was grounding, I was releasing, I was doing all the things that I normally do to release all that. And it just was just there. And I was so exhausted last night. It was just sort of, but I felt like I was just like it was good, but I was just so, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so take a strong deep breath and breathe out through your heart as though your heart has a mouth. Breathe out. Deep breath. Exhale through the heart. Notice to get it to go through the heart, you're making like a sound. Can you feel that? Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Compassion. So we're bringing compassion in and grace. You just keep breathing. Strong deep breaths. Exhale through the heart like your heart has a mouth, and it's gonna. So you actually focus the breath through that chakra, and the sound is differently when you breathe out of a certain chakra. It's gonna go into the solar plexus. And then just move your feet up and down as you're breathing and kind of stomp your feet a little bit on the ground. Okay, so what I'm being told is, Laura, that you have something really kind of big in front of you right now that Spirit wants you to see. It's where are you still here, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. It's weird. My screen lost you. Okay. But Spirit said that there's something like really big right in front of you. It's not bad. It's actually good, but you're not accepting it or you're not making a move towards it. Do you know what it is?
Yes and no.
Okay. Okay, so you have a smile on your face. Okay, so why no? Tell me why no.
Well, then the fear comes up again because it's like, well, if I do that, then my whole world's gonna just blow up.
Okay, that is where you're at though. That's the stuff in your legs because you have to get that figured out. Like, and when you do the movements and the Kundalini yoga and this breath work that we're doing and the energy work, it's going to help you figure it out, right? But you still have to do something too. So when you say your whole world's going to blow up, let's go past the explosion. Okay, so there's an explosion, and you know when there's an explosion, there's always a calm afterwards, right? What's in that calm for you?
Freedom. Joy.
Okay. Okay, so what is it that you're scared to let go of, or who do you, and if you don't want to say it, you don't have to, but can you see what you're scared to let go of and who you think you're going to hurt? Okay. So can we just cut the cords to that?
Okay.
Cut the cords to you playing God for that person, or those people, or those situations, whatever they may be. So just take a deep breath. And the cords are actually in your hands. So you know what that tells me? If you can imagine a puppeteer that wasn't able to puppet, That's what the cords are doing to you. So let's cut that. Let's cut the cords in the hands. They're in your hands. We're cutting those cords energetically. And then just move your hands like this and free your hands. Like really, really do this. Yeah. Can you feel that heat? I can feel the heat. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, that's really getting your Kundalini going. Do you feel that?
Probably why my thumb joints have been so sore lately.
Yeah. This is where your body tells you what movements to do, guys, because I could feel her Kundalini rising like crazy right now. And then go like this to your back. It's really good. You see how much easier that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, that you are powerful. Yeah, that's
Ooh, that is just so crazy because like before I was just like,
no, I know that was wow. Okay, so you have some, can I just tell you, whatever you want to do, you are divinely protected. So you can take this as a curse if you want, but like your higher self so much wants you to do this that I think if you don't, you're going to experience those aches and pains. But if you do, you're going to experience what you just felt like all the time. It's one of those things where we have to listen and be happy about it and give love, because you're actually, and this is what I'm being told, you're helping those people or those situations, whoever it is you think you're going to hurt, or you're actually helping them in the long run. We all, us as humans, we're here to be free. We want freedom, right? We're here to find our inner joy. That is our purpose in life. That is our purpose. Every human is on this earth to try to find joy. If we have a house, a husband, and kids, we'll find joy. If we get this job and make money, we'll find joy. Everything we do is to find joy, right? That is our purpose. That is what enlightenment is when you can find your own inner joy. That is enlightenment, because then you activate and then you can heal others. It's that simple. Okay, guys, thank you for watching this webinar. We are going to go into the healing, but first I want to talk a little bit about Awake. Awake is the Academy of Wealth, Alchemy, and Kinetic Energy. In the Academy, you can learn how to do this for yourself, to yourself, and also, if you choose, to other people as well. We do offer certifications as an integrative energy healing and holistic practitioner, and under that main certification is a lot of sub certifications that you will be getting. But basically, it's everything that I've learned in my entire life in reference to doing energy work and putting it under one umbrella. It has very valuable certifications that are good if you ever wanted to consider doing this as a career or in conjunction with something else that you're doing, or even if you want to do this for yourself or for your life, you don't really need the certification. So we have people from all walks of life. I would love to have you in the Academy. We have so much fun. So at the end of this healing, you're going to see a link to a website where you can schedule a one-to-one consultation with me. You can also view our free ebook, and there's also another master video that has to do with just Awake. But really, you can go ahead and schedule on the calendar with me, and then you can read the ebook and watch the video before we actually have a consultation. Also, you're probably watching this on YouTube, and in my YouTube description, I do have a link to the free gifts and the calendar as well. Okay, now we're going to do the healing. Remember everything that you guys put in the pot. We're going to take that pot right now and we're going to put it in this void. And this void is the darkness. And within the darkness, you're everything and nothing at the same time. In this darkness is where rebirth exists. It's the letting go and the death of something as we know it, and the rebirth into something new. So everything that you're ready and willing to let go of, for your highest and best interest, put it in that void right now. And you notice as you're putting it in the void, you can see the light start to rise through the darkness as what you're putting in there is beginning to be alchemized and transcended. Good. Now relax as you allow your crown chakra to open. Breathe and remember to surrender into the exhale as you're allowing all of the imprints, cords, and discarnate energies to leave to help you to relax into the field of the heart. Very good. All of this is being alchemized for you. And now you're going to allow the field of the heart to open as you're about ready to go into the frequency of the heart space. As you go into your heart, you're in that command center of all that is. Be still, be one with everything. Realize your connection as you're one with the heartbeat. As you're allowing the beat of your heart to help alchemize everything that you had put in that pot. Take a strong, deep breath. Surrender into the exhale. Now I want you to really let go as you are about to take a journey and allow yourself to go where you need to go with this journey. Take a deep breath, relax, open up the field of the heart, let go. Good job. And now you're going to ground. Take another strong, deep breath and release. Release all of the residual stuff that's no longer serving you. Let it go. Allow the energy to pass through your root chakra, through your calves, through your feet, and into Mother Earth. Everything is working for you. You're one with everything. Anything that you can possibly imagine, you can create. Imagine your physical body, emotional body, and spiritual body working together. Allowing your beauty to be inside out. Allowing your heart to open and shine to the Schumann resonance, the frequency of the heartbeat. The heartbeat of the earth. Allow your cells, your atoms, and your molecules to settle and connect with the quantum field as they assimilate and collaborate, connecting with that all that is energy to work in your favor for your highest and best interest. Remember, you are breath. Take a strong, deep breath now. Breathing in for 5 seconds. And releasing for 5 seconds. Going deeper into that connection. Okay, now wiggle your fingers as you allow yourself and your consciousness to come back. Really good job, you guys. Excellent. How was that for everybody?
I
Good,
could feel it all over my body.
good, good, good. And you guys, when I give you the replay, once again, you can play this to receive any of the healings. Like if you're going through something that someone else was going through, then take the recording and put it to that when I'm doing the healing and go through that healing as I'm doing it on somebody, because I was told that by spirit. You can use these healings for you. If you need to go through the healing at the end, just use the replay. You can use it over and over again. It was an honor to be with you guys today. You're so very powerful, and I hope to see you again. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Rebecca. This was
Yeah,
fabulous.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Namaste.